After the success of Taxi Driver, Paul Schrader became the number one top American screenwriter. Well, at least the hottest commodity. And it's still, Taxi Driver still resonates to this day, even in the most recent Joker movie in 2019. I remember going to see it in theaters and just being like, same concepts here. But it wasn't new. Even to when Schrader made Taxi Driver, there was this um, this sort of like angst against the system, angst against just internal conflict and strife. When especially like whenever it comes to like, it reminds me of like a lot of teenage alienation. Even though that within Taxi Driver, it's more than just that, but the same core feelings. I still it still resonates with me, I think, whenever I watch that movie. But when it comes to Schrader's career after that, of course, he has made good movies, I think, in like Mishima, I believe, First Reformed, which that's been a long time since I watched that one. But the most overlooked and the most forgotten and one of the best films of the 1970s is his first movie, Blue Collar, uh, made in 1978, written by him and his brother, directed by him. Um, and it's still to me just a it's like a miracle that this movie ever came out, if you dare to look at like the production or whatever like that. But Richard Pryor, Harvey Keitel, and Yaphet Kotto star in this movie. That's really those three guys that I have a thing that well, I have a theory that Schrader told all these guys, "Oh yeah, you'll be the star of the movie." And I don't think that he knew that he was going to get all of them at once, or he thought he would at least get one of the three, right? But when all three of them accepted, he probably had to rewrite them all. I don't know. But it was just a recipe for disaster, especially with Pryor being such a huge megastar at this time, and demands on the set. Harvey Keitel, as much as I love Harvey Keitel, this is the fourth time on this channel you hear me say that, he can be a handful as well. Yaphet Kotto, same thing. So the production on this apparently was a very dreadful experience for Schrader. He didn't want to direct after this. Of course, he went on to make other movies, but he essentially gave his directors, well, his assistant cameraman carte blanche to direct most of the scenes in this movie, while he ironed out the kinks between the co-actors, well, and the lead actors, all of them. Pretty much a horrifying experience for Schrader. But I will say that without that tension there, and without the very blunt camera that may have been operated by his cameraman, may have been operated by him, I don't know. But this is a really, this is a very searing look into just the whole state of capitalism, how it devolves into backstabbing, conniving, even to the worst of human atrocities being murder, right? And there are funny scenes in here as well. It's touching, it's sad, it's depressing, it's all wrapped up in this whole notion that this machine that is capitalism will eventually crush um, all within. So first, I want to talk about the movie itself. Whenever it comes to the three leads, so Richard Pryor, which in a weird way has become a little dated for some people. I don't hear a lot of young people talk about Richard Pryor like, oh man, that joke was so great, or and maybe he just did not have the career comeback as much as like Dave Chappelle or any of these other comedians, even to Louis C.K., who's going on his reunion or whatever. I don't know, not reunion, but like a he's getting back into the mix with stand up. But Pryor never had that. Pryor, pretty much after the early 80s, after he had his drug binge, or once he came back on after that, he never really did stand up anymore. It was just over for him. He just didn't think of things in a funny way. But Blue Collar to me represents the best of Richard Pryor and what he could do on camera. Now, I used to think of Richard Pryor as like, oh, he's like this sort of like hammy actor, like he was in Superman 3, right? Just improvising, just being just, you know, carny vaudevillian, right? In like the old timey sense. But in Blue Collar, it's completely different, and it shocked me how good his performance was. His performance was so good, and you believed his character, that he was going through all these, and really all three of them, both Keitel and Kodo. They were, all three were good, but Pryor especially, because he mixed the humor with the sadness in such a way, and the believability, and that's one of the main strengths of this movie, and the way that you can compare this to the Scorsese films, right? And I promise I don't hate these movies, just for comparison, but um, for Goodfellas, for like any of those movies that he had that portrayed and embodied this person as this sort of microcosm, not microcosm, but like this whole this embodiment of American capitalism, and just he's just going through the motions, and oh, just this terrible behavior and whatever like that. But there really isn't a whole lot of moral ground there. Um, it's mostly just cartoonish. It's mostly just for laughs and everything like that. With Blue Collar, there's nothing like that. There's a searing pain that these three leads go through. Richard Pryor is going to get in trouble by the IRS, might be put in jail. Harvey Keitel can't afford braces for his daughter. Kodo is maybe the less developed of the three, but he still played a great part in trying to care for his friends, and I feel that you don't get a lot of movies that critique capitalism, but yet bring this sort of this character study as well on what this system does to regular people, and how they can turn into monsters, and turn into just informants, turn into just it's really just a very sobering movie to watch. And this is his best movie. I don't think that there is any movie that Schrader made that was as good as this. And that's like the funny part that I always think. I might have said this earlier, but um, I think that for him to manage those three personalities, and to give his associate cameraman or whatever the free reign, made this movie way more direct in a strange way. Like, and there isn't like a whole lot of moving shots in this movie. It's just very like frame, look at the action. And I thought that that was such a it was such a it complemented the movie so well that maybe it succeeded in spite of Schrader, because of just how he was able to manage all three of them, and such. But anyway, so go see this movie. Buy it on Blu-ray, however you want to see it. I think it's for free on Prime. You could watch it. But I do think that this movie is worth your time. It was a wonderful experience, and I always felt that Schrader himself, like when it comes to his main features, it's like the ideas almost get lost, I feel, in his movies in some strange way. Like, for example, for Mishima, it's like he treated him with dignity. He treated him with so much dignity, and he couldn't pick a side, that it almost felt like we were just like going through it. And First Reformed, I thought was a good film, but I mean, I'll have to come back to that one. But anyway, go see this movie. It's great. Blue Collar, 1978, Paul Schrader, Pryor, Keitel, Kodo. Thank you so much.